Hello and welcome back to our last session about the history of Jews of Iran. And today we'll talk about the Iranian Revolution and the history of Jews of Iran under the Islamic Republic of Iran. The revolution that began in Iran in late 1977 and eventually led to the establishment of the Islamic Republic of Iran in 1979 brought about drastic social changes that caused much concern to the Jewish community. As mentioned, in 1978, on the eve of the Islamic Revolution, there were approximately 80 to 100 Jews in Iran, of whom about 60,000 live in the capital, Tehran. After the establishment of the Islamic Republic of Iran in 1979 and during Iran-Iraq War, the Jewish population shrinked dramatically. Prior to the change of regime, the anti-Israeli and anti-Jewish statements by the Muslim revolutionary leaders worsened the Jews' sense of imminent danger. With the outbreak of the revolution, what had been considered strength of the Jewish community, its socio-economic status, identification with the Shah and his policies, and ties to Israel and the United States quickly became its principal weak points. Anti-Jewish expressions soon intensified. During the revolution itself, and especially after Black Friday, September 8, 1978, a wave of anti-Israel sentiment swept over Iran, affecting the Jewish community. The revolutionary rhetoric and climate had a tremendous effect on the Jewish community sense of security. Hopeless and concerned by the looming insecurity, the Jewish community declared on November 6, 1978, a day of fasting and prayer for the community. At the same time, however, there were Jews who supported the revolution. On the Shia day of mourning, Ashura, while the Shah was still in Iran, thousands of Jewish demonstrators filled the streets of Tehran in organized groups, joining hundreds of thousands of Muslim demonstrators. The demonstrations were organized by the Organization of Jewish Intellectual Youth of Iran, a new generation of progressive Jewish Iranian intellectuals who replaced the old Jewish council, Rahimiyan. They called for religious and cultural revival and protection of the Jewish community and supported the Islamic Revolution. At the same time, other members of the community had already started leaving the country. When Ayatollah Khomeini returned to Tehran on the 1st of February 1979, 5,000 Jews led by Iranian Chief Rabbi Shofet were among those welcoming him back, some holding banners that read, "Our bond with the people of Iran is inseparable," as you could see in the picture. The most shocking event of Iranian Jews was the execution of the former head of Jewish community, Haj Habibullah El-Qanayan, and a prominent industrialist on May 9, 1979. The execution of El-Qanayan on May 1979, the first private citizen to be executed by the Revolutionary Court of the Islamic Republic of Iran, became a factor in further advancing the immigration of Iran's Jewish community. Some estimated 60,000 members of which would eventually leave the country. The immigrants, including the majority of the community's leaders, philanthropists, and professionals, left Iran. Among them, the leaders the leaders of the community, Rabbi Shofet, Yedidia Shofet, and his son, that left Iran in 1980. Large percentage of these immigrants settled in Southern California, while another sizable portion went to New York, mainly to Long Island. The next largest segments of Iranian Jewry moved to Israel, where the remaining numbers scattered elsewhere in the United States, England, United Kingdom, and Australia. Today, the Islamic Republic of Iran is home of an estimated 10,000 to 25,000 Jews. The overwhelming majority of them live in Tehran, the capital, while the numbers in some of the oldest communities, such as Esfahan and Hamadan, have dwindled to a mere few hundred. The community members that didn't leave Iran were worried about their future. On 14 May 1979, 5 days after the execution of El-Kanayan, a delegation of Jewish leaders from the Organization of the Jewish Intellectual Youth of Iran set out for Qom, the holy place, to meet with Ayatollah Khomeini, who allied their fears with the following words: "We make a distinction between the Jewish community and the Zionists, and we know that they are different things. We are against them," meaning the Zionists, says Khomeini, "because they are not Jews, but are politicians. As for the Jewish community and the other minorities in Iran, they are members of this nation. Islam will treat them in the same manner as it treats other layers of society." This is what Khomeini promised the Jewish delegation that came to visit him in Qom. So, since the establishment of the Islamic Republic of Iran and its declaration of Islam as the all-encompassing state region, the region has officially distinguished between the country's Jews, who are considered loyal citizens, and other Jews, such as Israelis, Zionists, and world Jewry. The status of Muslim minorities, including the status of Jews, was enshrined in the Constitution of the Islamic Republic. Official recognition of minorities was rooted in the Constitution of the Islamic Republic in Article 13. As you can read, Zoroastrian, Jewish, and Christian Iranians are the only recognized minorities which, within the limits of the law, are free to perform their religious rites and ceremonies and to act according to their own canon in matters involving personal affairs and religious education. Article 14 of the Constitution further provides equality for all before the law. But the Penal Code of Islamic Republic discriminates against non-Muslim, including Jews. In this framework, following the Constitution of 1906, religious minorities, including the Jews, were granted permanent representation in the Majlis. Zoroastrian and Jews will each elect one representative, says Article 64 of the Constitution, who will take the oath of office on his own sacred text, meaning Bible or the Old Testimony or the New Testimony. A candidate to represent a non-Muslim community in the Majlis must be nominated by the religious minority to which he belongs. Religious minorities are free to vote in presidential election, but they are not permitted to run for presidency. Regarding the Majlis election, if a non-Muslim chooses to vote for the nominees in a specific electorate, he cannot vote in the election of Jewish deputy and vice versa. In 2003, important constitutional amendment in the statutory status of non-Muslim was ratified. Prior, the criminal code, which deals with homicide in involuntary manslaughter, which called diya, blood money, treated Muslims and non-Muslims differently. The compensation offered to the family of a religious minority was half of a Muslim male victim. However, in 2003, Article 297 of the Criminal Code was amended. As a result, it recognized an equal diya for Muslims and a non-Muslim. It was a big achievement for the religious minorities of Iran. After the revolution, members of Jewish community have adopted a low profile. Its leader often voiced strong rhetoric against Israel, Zionism, and Western imperialism, and declared their loyalty to the Iranian regime. As you could see here in a demonstration in 1982 on the background of the IDF entry to Lebanon. In practice, it seems that Jewish freedom of worship has not been restricted. Various Jewish socio-cultural organizations and religious institutions that operated prior to the revolution continue to function under the Islamic Republic. The community continues to administer its schools, synagogues, and other institutions, including a Jewish hospital and a nursing home, cemeteries, kosher restaurants, and a Jewish library. For example, Tehran has many functioning synagogues, many of them with Hebrew schools. And here you can see at the picture a Jewish wedding at the Yosef Abad Synagogue in Tehran. Under the Islamic Republic of Iran, the Jewish affairs are regulated by three principal authorities: the Jewish Religious Authority, Chief Rabbi, the Board of Directors of the Tehran Jewish Committee, as you could see here from the website, and the Office of the Jewish Legislator in the Majlis. Jewish schools, synagogues, and other social non-political organizations continue to function in the country, making Iranian Jews the single largest community of Jews anywhere in the Middle East outside the State of Israel. To have lived on the same land constituently over the past 25 centuries. Despite difficulties, most Jews who have remained in Islamic Republic struggle to maintain vivid Iranian Jewish life. Although some may say it's a lip service, Iranian individuals and leaders manifestate that they feel an unbreakable bond to their homeland, Vatan. They continue to live there and they continue to practice their Jewish identity that to whom it doesn't contradict their Iranian one. In order to learn more about the tremendous change in the life of Iranian Jewry because of the Iranian Revolution of 1979 and under the Islamic Republic of Iran, I'm happy to host today Nasrin Namdar, a Jewish Iranian who left Iran by the end of 1979. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
خوش آمدید.
Thank you.
So let's start. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I was born in 1953. That makes me a 72-year-old. In a city in Iran called Mashhad. This city is almost at the border of what was called Russia, at the border, and my whole community lived there for years. And
so you're actually a Mashhadi descendant?
Yes, I am a Mashhadi descendant. Because this city was a very radical Shia city, so we also were converted. That means my descendant, my ancestors, sorry. Yeah. My ancestors were forced by force. They were
in 1839, as we discussed in one of the lectures.
Yes, in Muslim. So when I was 3 years old, there was another uprising against Jews in Mashhad. Then almost everybody left to Tehran. Some left to Europe and some to New York, but mostly we we immigrated to Tehran.
What is
no
your
memories,
your first memory of Iran?
my first memories of Iran were at my childhood in the city Karaj, which is, my father had a factory, and it was in in Karaj, which is very, very much near Tehran. And there I had a very happy life with my sister, because we grew up in open places. And so we played all the time with mud and flowers, and so I had though we were at that time, we were poor, but I was a very happy child.
So you lived in Mashhad and your father worked in Tehran?
At the beginning, my father worked together with my uncle in Mashhad, but then they wanted to depart, so one stayed in Mashhad and my father came to Karaj.
And what did he do? Which kind of industry did he have?
He worked with, the factory produced canned food, like jams and pickles and whatsoever which is canned.
So you were 3 when you moved to Tehran.
Yes, actually.
So in a way there was kind of an internal immigration from Mashhad to Tehran. And so you didn't live in a Jewish neighborhood?
No, not at all. At that time, no. Once in a while, when my mother gave us 1 rial or something, so me and my sister and my youngest brother, we went to buy for us a treat in the shops around. But we were not allowed to leave.
So until when did you stay there, in the area of the factory?
We went to Tehran when...
How old were you?
We came to Tehran when I was 6, I believe, yes. And my brothers, I am the youngest of my brothers and my sister, they had to attend school. So they didn't want... my sister studied 1 year in Karaj, but she was very much not content. So we moved to Tehran so that we can go to better schools.
And where did you live in Tehran?
In a neighborhood, we had in Iran, we had only 1 or 2 Jewish residential areas that were closed, like a ghetto.
Yeah.
And
the mahalleh, the Jewish
Yes,
quarter.
mahalleh, yes. Other Jews, we lived in, we were in good, let's say we were not that rich, but
middle class.
Yes, upper middle class. We were upper middle class.
But did you live in the Jewish quarter, or did you live in a Muslim neighborhood?
Yes, in good neighborhoods of the city. But we, the Jewish people, and especially the Jews from Mashhad, we were very much attached. So whatever one did, the others wanted to.
So they bought houses next to each other.
So if we went up city, many others came. So we had in our neighborhood, we had several people. I'm talking about Mashhadi, but other Jews, they were maybe more around us, but we had...
only Mashhadi, or also
no,
from other cities?
From other cities. And whenever we went, we had Jews around us. And
so it was easy for you to conduct Jewish life?
Not that much. Within the house, yes. Outside the house, we were playing games as if we were playing it. Nobody wanted to reveal his religious. they understood, maybe because of their looks, I don't know, because of their behavior, I don't know. They understood that eventually that yes, that we are Jews, but we didn't volunteer to announce everywhere that we are Jews. Nobody, men never wore a cap hat.
Yarmulke.
Yes.
So when they found out that you are Jews, did they treat you differently or anything?
Sometimes they. I remember once I was at maybe third grade. We had a very nice teacher, home teacher, who was the sister of the headmaster.
Mm-hmm.
And one day somebody told me something like, "You are a dirty Jew."
Mm-hmm.
And then I complained to my teacher that she called me a dirty Jew, and she gave a long
Lecture?
Yes, a long lecture of why are we called Jews? Because a Jew means somebody who struggles, who work hard, and nobody, we are all the three religions are children of the same God, and nobody has the right to call somebody. So people did not, after Shah came to throne, people did not dare to threaten us or to, but
this was at the beginning of the 60s, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So it was
But
when the Shah
we
was
practiced
strong.
our religion. All the synagogues were open in time,
And you went to a Muslim school?
We went, all of us children, good schools were public schools.
Mm-hmm.
There were some Jewish schools, but they taught girls how to sew, not
Humanistic education.
Yes, yes. And my parents were very enlightened people. They wanted us to be not a part of the nation, a part of, not always Jews.
Segregated.
Yes, segregated. So they always looked for best of schools and sent us to public schools.
And after school, where did you learn? What did you learn?
Yes, when I finished my high school, then usually all the girls at my age got married. But for some reasons I didn't get married. So what do? I asked to continue my education, and I studied English literature and language at the college. And then my parents sent me to London for a period of time to practice my language.
And where did you stay in London?
In Brighton, in a so-called Jewish family, but they had nothing with Jewish.
Not Iranian?
No, not at all.
So you had, in a way, some kind of secular life.
Yes, one may say secular life, yes. Yes.
In one aspect did you demonstrate your Jewish identity?
Okay, look, I don't remember that my mother lighted candles for Shabbat, because we were all the Jews from Mashhad. We carried with us this fear of demonstrating our
Jewishness.
as if we are still crypto Jews. So my mother never lighted the candles for Shabbat, but my father and my brothers, they went to synagogue. They came home, we blessed, and had a special dinner. And on Yom Shabbat, they also went to synagogue, and my father used to read Torah and I had no patience for that.
Torah or Shaheen?
Torah.
Torah.
Yes, Torah.
And after you finished your school, your college,
After I finished my college, I went to England. When I came back, I worked as a receptionist in a hotel for a year or two, and then started the revolution.
and did they know when you worked as in the hotel? Did they know that you're a Jew?
Incidentally, I worked for a
Jewish owners.
Yes,
Okay.
It was a good hotel.
So tell me a little bit about the atmosphere in the years before the revolution.
Okay. And since I went to high school, we went on foot to school, and the way was in front of University of Tehran. I remember there were days that they warned us, don't go, don't cross the
Because
street.
of the demonstration?
There are demonstrations. And we stayed home, we didn't go to.
What did you think is happening?
Well, we knew that at that time we knew that the students of the schools are mostly leftists.
Yeah.
And we knew that they are under the influence of Russia. Okay, because Iran, because of its oil, it's a place that nations competed to have a hand on it. So England and America, maybe France also, they all wanted to have
a portion.
Yes, on the oil
industry.
Yes. But then the Russians also did. And the Russians had influence on students.
So in your view, they were communists?
Yes, they were. We knew that if they win, I don't know, have you heard about Mossadegh?
Yeah, of course. We discussed it a little bit in our lectures. Yeah.
Mossadegh was prime minister of Shah, who wanted to, maybe rightfully, he wanted to make the oil national, so that nobody, but only Shah knew that we are anyhow in the hands of the, if once Shah dared to raise his head and say that the price of oil should be higher, and then they tried to overthrow him.
Yeah.
And they succeeded.
There were Jews,
but then they brought him back.
Yeah.
So
there were Jews who took part in the demonstrations?
Never. We Jews, we never felt 100% Iranian to take part in
the political life.
Yes, in politics. Just let us earn our money.
And what happened later, after the demonstrations?
The demonstrations that were once in a while, they get very much closer and repeated, and until we went, we understood that it is getting serious. It is getting serious. That they dare to openly dare to curse Shah and
to speak against him.
Speak against him, and then started the big I don't call them factories, but like Shirkat Naft.
Yeah, the oil industry.
In
Abedan, like the main industries, the joint demonstrations.
Yes, the electricity, the oil industry, They started to demonstrate also, to stop their services. We had no oil. I remember that at the winter of 1978,
Yeah.
at the winter, we all had long, long queues to buy a gallon of
oil
for our cars.
What did you
And,
feel?
My family, many of the Jews, at the
Demonstration?
at the middle of the demonstrations, they sensed the danger, and they said, "We leave for the moment. If it gets better, we come back." So most of them left the country. They went to Israel mostly. But my father was...
Before Ayatollah Khomeini arrived to Iran?
Before
February 79?
Yes, yes. So...
And what did your family do?
My brothers, all my brothers, they left.
Oh, really?
They left. But
Where
me
to?
and mother and father, we stayed.
You stayed? And what about you? So you
I stayed with my parents.
Only you?
Because
You and your sister?
my father had, the factory was still working.
Yeah.
And he had lands there, and he was a bit weak. He couldn't, like others, dare to sell things and send the money unlawfully to other countries. So we just stayed. Maybe there is a way. We can find a way. We cannot let everything buried
All
in
the
Iran,
property.
all the property. So I stayed with them, but
It was
we
only
had-
you, your parents, and you?
yes, almost all my family went. All my aunts, uncles, cousins, and I felt for the first time in my life, I felt the bitter reality of life, that you cannot rely on. Until that point, I completely relied on my family, my parents. Okay, I have rich father, I have brothers who support me, I have whatever I wish. But then I understood that I am somehow...
By yourself?
Yes, by myself. There's nothing. When at the whole day we sit together, my father, who didn't stay at home for half a day, unless it was Shabbat,
Yeah.
always working. Now my father is at home. Now we have less to eat. There wasn't everything we had at that time.
Yeah, there was lack of commodities.
Yeah, and then we didn't have electricity. If we had electricity and we turned on television, there was propaganda for Ayatollah Khomeini, for Islam, so we didn't want to watch it.
So what happened?
We stayed until all the chances were gone. Ayatollah came. When Ayatollah came, my mother told me, "You have to leave, because any moment he can close the border, the gates, the airport."
Yeah.
So, okay, sir. And then my mother helps the other families, our close families, to sell their property and to pack whatever they need and send them. But for me, she suggested, let's go to your sister.
In Hamburg?
Yes, I pack a lot of things of property, take it to Hamburg, come back again, and then leave another time. And
which kind of property?
We had gold. We bought a lot of gold because the money was imprisoned, and rugs, Persian rugs. I think that this is what we could. Later, when my mother started to sell her own house furniture and things, she kept things that emotionally they were intact with it. So I took, the first time I took some rocks, some jewelry, hid them in some places.
On your body?
Yes, on the body, under the
So they won't find, what would happen if they found out about the jewelry?
I don't believe they would do anything unless take it away from us. And
you're talking about the revolutionary people, right?
Yes, every counter in the airport was bearded revolutionary guys, very harsh people, and why are you leaving? Why? And my mother said she's going to Germany to her fiancé. She's getting married there, so please let her take whatever. So I went twice to Germany. I took whatever I could. But then after some months with my sister, I knew that I have to. We had all visas to United States.
Oh, really?
But yes, but you remember the hostages?
Yeah.
When they
the hostages crisis.
Yes, yes. When they got hostages in the embassy.
Yeah.
So our visas are cancelled.
Oh, really?
So we couldn't possibly go to United States where all my family were there. So I said, I go to Israel and see what happens in Israel.
That's after you were in Hamburg,
yes.
and you decided that you're coming to Israel. And your
yes.
parents are still in Tehran?
My parents were still in Tehran. It took them some months to come also to Israel.
Why didn't they come with you?
I think a kind of a struggle, or maybe false struggle to produce more, to get more money. I don't know what to do with the money. And you have to leave everything.
But they decided to leave Iran?
They decided after some time, they decided to leave.
Do you remember what made them decide to leave Iran?
I think my mother was the one who was stronger and made the decisions. She said, everybody is gone. What do you want to do here? We have nobody. Let's go outside. We can manage somehow. Do what we have.
So who helped you in Israel?
At the beginning, it was, I'm sorry to tell, but it was a hell of a life. When you come to a country not out of your eagerness, not out of your Zionism, I wasn't called a Zionist exactly. Just by force. I did not know the language at all. I wasn't familiar with the behavior or mentality of people here. The weather was very strange for me, damp, and everything as if my life had ended and I was born again, but in the body of a grown-up. And I had to start everything. It took me years to feel Israeli. It took me years. And when I started to gradually work and be among the people, then I get married and had my children. And then I started to understand that this is the place to live. Whenever you go, you are a guest. Here, you are the owner.
So if I'll ask you, I can continue talking with you for a long time. But if I'll ask you, in order to sum up our interesting discussion, what are you more, Iranian, Jewish, Israeli, maybe even Mashhadi, because it's another component of your identity.
I am not
What would you
Iranian
say?
at all.
You're not Iranian at all?
No. I yearned to go back to Iran once to find, maybe to close the circle, to find my school if I find it, to find our last home, to hear the music of the water, okay, over the stones, to feel the weather, the trees, but just once, not to stay, God forbid. I am not Iranian anymore. And then with also Iranians living here, I have not much in common.
And why is that?
I don't, because maybe we, the whole family, we were somehow revolutionary.
In what sense, revolutionary?
In every sense. Let's say music. I never listened to musics that Iranian like that. No, I never. I always found music in English language, but music that I like, that touches my soul. Mm-hmm. I was one of the rarest girls who went to university. And then my parents sent me to London by myself.
So you were very independent.
Yes. I didn't like, I don't call myself feminist, but I did not like the kind of to be controlled by a man, under the control of a man, that he decides what to do. And so it always made me different.
Mm-hmm. But still, I see that you write about Iran.
Yes. When I didn't tell you that I was an English teacher for the educational system for maybe more than 20 years. And when I finally decided to retire, I didn't know what to do with myself. I am not kind of person to sit at home and just chats on the phone. So I said, I write books.
But I see that you write mainly on Iran, no?
Okay.
Unless for...
I wrote 3 books. Mm-hmm. The first one was one I almost wrote it in my head. Through the stories my mother told me from our city, Mashhad, when my ancestors were also Muslims. Mm-hmm. Okay, so how they kept the religion, what happened there,
the history of Iranian Mashhad,
the history of how the people went to Russia and what happened after the revolution in Russia. Everything I had ready in mind. Yes, this is the book. In English it calls Sonobar Khanum's Gold Coins. I wrote all my books in 3 languages, by the way.
Oh, great.
Yes. So Khanum
Hebrew,
means,
English, and Persian.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Khanum means lady. Yeah. And here it has 3 parts. The book has 3 parts. The first part is about the grandmother who lived in the time of when they played being Muslims. Mm-hmm. And the daughter then comes to Tehran after they left. And I say, what... all the Jews that came to Tehran, at first they were lost. They didn't know what. Do they have to keep themselves closed as they did in Mashhad? Or can they openly go anywhere, let the children go to schools? And so this is a struggle I mentioned in this. And then the third part is the granddaughter. And in the third part, I bring my own hardship as an immigrant, and a new immigrant who comes to a...
So in a way, it's your biography.
Somehow, not
Somehow.
wishful thinking a bit.
Okay, great. Nasreen, thank you very much. I enjoyed talking with you. It was interesting, and hopefully we'll continue it in other circles.
Thank you so much for the very interesting interview with me.